Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another episode. And as always, let me give a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. So like I mentioned on the last episode, this week I started back at work. And for those who don't know, I'm a table games dealer at a casino. My casino decided to open back up with smoking allowed in the building, which a lot of us feel that it's disrespectful to us because that means you don't care about us. These people in the casino are finding any reason to smoke. So they're not allowed to smoke at the table, but they can smoke at slot machines. So now an area that was designated non-smoking in the casino, it's now completely smoking. As long as you're at a slot machine, you can smoke a cigarette. But people are finding loopholes around it. Like if security sees them walking with their mask down, they'll pop a cigarette and go stand at a machine and say, "Oh, I'm smoking." And this is really crazy. You also have casinos near us that are taking temperatures when patrons come in as well as their employees. Where I work at, they're only taking our temperature. Patrons aren't getting their temperatures checked, and that's another concern of ours. I don't understand why you wouldn't check a patron's temperature coming in. Some people might not show symptoms. It might not look like they're sick. After 3 days of working with a mask on, I felt so fatigued and tired that I had to take a day off. I had to take today off. It was just too much. I couldn't, my lungs were bothering me. Breathing was a little bit more difficult for me now. And it's not like I don't want to work. I do. I enjoy my job. My job is fun. It's an easy job. But under the circumstances, it's not the same job. It really isn't. I'm suffocating under that mask. I don't feel safe wearing a shield. So what am I supposed to do? If I don't go to work, I also don't get unemployment. So I have to work. But the conditions that I'm working in aren't fit. I have a supervisor standing behind me with his mask, his shield in his hand, but he's standing away from me. And his belief is that this is all a hoax by the Democrats to bring down Donald Trump because he's a big Donald Trump supporter. I don't understand why you would want to risk yourself or my well-being or anybody else's well-being in a situation like that. Whatever your political views is your political views. Do not involve my life with your views. So I decided to just take today off, and I probably more than likely will take tomorrow off because I just don't. I need to recover from the last 3 days and all the nonsense and all the stress. And really sit down and talk to my family and discuss with my family what our alternatives are. Because if we can find a different alternative, then I won't return because I don't feel like it's the best thing for my health and my well-being. So if I have to leave, then I will leave. At the end of the day, it's a job. And my well-being and my health comes before any job. And I'll just take these next few days to really think it through and talk to my family, sit down and reflect on what are my options and put it in God's hand and take it from there. All right, you're going to take a break. And when I come back, I'm going to have a special guest. I'll be back.
Precision Auto Service, your one-stop family for domestic and foreign auto repairs, specializing in German imports. Yes, we do state inspections, oil change, and offer SNAP finance for all your general auto mechanic needs. We guarantee complete service done right the first time because your safety is our number one priority. We are conveniently located at 339 Sterling Road in Tobyhanna, PA. Call 570-894-8699 for your automotive appointment today. Follow us on Facebook at Precision Auto SVCE. Se habla español.
All right, welcome back. And now let's introduce my next guest. All right, so welcome to the show, Patrick Ladonis. Hey, Patrick, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for asking. But I see you're based out of Atlanta, and I know there's a lot of stuff going down in Atlanta. So
I think for, with whether it's COVID or if it's just the protest of just the civil unrest and equality, which I'm 100% an advocate for. I think what I have been able to do in this moment is, especially being a smaller production company, is I've actually been able to really pivot. I'm doing things that the larger production companies are not able to do because they have so many people working on their projects. So what we're able to do with Scales is it's a team of about, I think I cut my team down 6 people, and we're just wearing multiple hats. And so we're able to really knock out things that probably a normal company that maybe have 50 to 60 crew people probably takes a whole week or two to do. We're able to knock it out in like a 12, 14-hour day. So what I'm able to do is we're able to really be efficient. Everyone is coming on board, practicing, it's the social distancing the best way we can. But we also, for me, being a Black man, I acknowledge what's happening in the world. And I think because the casting group are, majority people of color, to acknowledge what's happening, giving us a time to, talk about what's happening, and then jumping into filming and understanding that as artists or creatives, our job is to, entertain and inform people of particular subject matters. And because of everything that's going on in the world right now, people are going to be looking for an escape. So we have a job to do in telling our stories. And because I think we're efficient, we're a smaller independent company in the pot, we're able to get a lot of traction done. And I did that, and checking to make sure that my cast and crew are good. I think we're able to be highly effective during this time that we're kind of all in, because I kind of consider this a global recess for everyone.
Yeah, me personally, I just got back to work, and I'm not really happy at work with some of the conditions. So but that's another story. But what are you doing personally to stay focused during all this pandemic and across the protests and everything?
I think for me, knowledge is power. So what this protest has done is really just for me, again, being a Black man, understanding the challenges and struggles every single day of what happens being a person of color in general. It helps me to stay informed about what changes are needed, how changes are being implemented, who's driving those changes, researching my local congressmen and senators as the election comes up in November, also voting in the primary elections. It's staying on top of what's happening locally as well as nationally. I'm reading a lot more too. So I think that helps keep my mind off of the real crazy things that are happening, because I'm so vested in wanting to make sure that once we do come out of this transition of the uncertainty with COVID, that I'm equipped with the knowledge of knowing that I know how to empower or help my fellow brother and sister. Because again, what this has taught me is that we really need to return back to those, the saying of, am I my brother or sister's keeper, and really take that to task, and actions speak louder than words. So that's really how I'm staying sane, is equipping myself with all the things I need to do to prevent myself from going further insane with the actions that are happening in the world.
Yeah, I get you, because my release is doing the podcast. Prior to this, I had been delaying this for over a year, and it took for the pandemic for me to really get into it. But this is my release. This is what I do. I want people to come on and just tell me what they're doing out there. Just regular people, you're just regular guys like you and me, to help people get through this and show people that, listen, even though we're going through a rough patch in life and whatever, we still have to keep going and still living our life and producing great content like you're doing. When you mentioned this show Scales, which I got to check out, which I enjoyed pretty much. Tell us a little bit about your show, man.
Sure. Scales is a show. The premise of it is Remy Howard, the character that I play. He's attracted to complicated people and relationships, and it just shows how people navigate themselves in a world looking for love, even if they're not ready for it. And so we're already in production for season 3. So I do have seasons 1 and 2 is available to watch on YouTube. So I'm throwing that plug out there. But it's a show that really celebrates diversity, and it raises awareness to a lot of things that are conversation starters. And so when I think about Scales and what it means to me, or what I hope that it will mean to audiences watching watching it is that there is something that connects us all, whether it's being our flaws, because these characters are flawed, but then there's the beauty of music, because one of the things I wanted to make sure I mentioned too, Atlanta is, or it used to be, the birthplace of all the music. I don't know if you, again, I'm not sure how old you are, Wise, but back in the day, and I'm saying this in the 90s or early 2000s, Atlanta, you had LaFace Records. So it was the birthplace of music. So in Scales, I wanted to really try to incorporate music, because there's so many talented independent artists that are here that haven't really been able to, peak yet, just like I haven't been able to really peak. So if I can do something to help them, even if it's getting 6 more eyes on their music, then I feel like I'm doing something or reaching back. And that's something too I think people will really vibe with in Scales, is that there's some really dope music throughout the series, and it's all independent local musicians here performing in around Atlanta.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. That's what I'm about. I want to help bring people that don't necessarily have a voice, or they want to express themselves and they don't know how, and they want to just come on and just be creative. If you're creative and you want to show the world what you have, I want you to come on my show. I want you to tell people what you're putting out there that's positive, and what you're doing is amazing. By having these artists, and you're showcasing these artists, even if it's 3-4 new likes that they get, that's an improvement from where they're at, and I commend you for that. That's amazing. Listen, I know Atlanta's the place of music, man. Believe me, I'm old enough to I'm not even gonna say my age, but I'm old enough to realize that Atlanta has some real dope music. T.I. is one of my favorite artists. Jeezy's one, but I also grew up listening to Babyface and I grew up listening to TLC and a whole bunch of LaFace record artists. So what you're doing is amazing, and continue to do that, brother. And definitely plug your Instagram, plug your Twitter, whatever you have to plug it right now, brother. Definitely, man. I definitely want people to know what you're doing out there.
For sure. You can find me on Instagram as well as Twitter. It's I am Patrick Ladonis. You can check out what's happening with the show at Twitter and Instagram with Scales the Web. And you can, like I say, go to YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, type up Scales the Web series. Each episode is about 8 to 9 minutes. It's short form content, and we have 2 full seasons, which means you can watch 2 seasons under an hour and a half if you want to do that. And stay tuned for more, because I'm just getting started.
Listen, I definitely would love to have you on again when probably maybe after season 3 is released or something, whenever you can, man. I know you're a busy guy in Atlanta. I know things are crazy, but I would definitely love to have you on to tell us what's going on and how our show's going.
Oh, most definitely. I'd love to come back, and especially after season 3 drops, because season 3 is we're telling a story that has not been told before. It's been played around with on mainstream television, but I don't think it's really been looked at through the lens fully. And so we're actually going to explore that this season on the show. So you guys will get to see it. And it's definitely a conversation starter.
Definitely. And I appreciate you coming on the show. It's an honor. Like I said, I'm just starting out, and to have someone who's established like yourself come on the show is greatly appreciated. You have a great day, and everybody, thanks to Patrick Ladonis for coming on the show. Check out his show Scales, and say goodbye, Patrick.
All right, goodbye, everybody, and thanks again, man, and all the best. This was awesome.
Oh no, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. This, like I said, for me being a new podcaster, this is an honor and blessing to me to have someone who's established come on the show and talk about what they're doing, and especially all the good things you're doing out there. So keep it up, brother, and you be safe out there, man. I greatly appreciate you.
All right, you too. Thanks again, man.
No problem, man. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
And thanks again to Patrick Ladonis for coming on the show, and definitely check out his show Scales on YouTube. It's Scales the Web series, so definitely check him out. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
You are listening to a podcast supported by the Reality Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
So welcome back. So this past week, I reached a little milestone, surpassed 500 downloads for the past 2 months, and that's just amazing for me. So I just want to thank everyone for all the support you've been giving me, and I just want to continue to put out great content for you to listen to. Thank you, everybody. Just it's just humbling to know that people are actually enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm gonna continue to just bring you some good stuff. All right. Big shout out to my Mount Airy crew. I know it's our first week back, and I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be with you guys, but always nothing but love for you guys. Big shout out to my partner in crime, Poppy J from Talking Real 1000. And a big shout out to my beautiful wife, Fina. Love you, and thanks for all the support, baby. And on that note, Wise is out. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at wise_b_blunt, Instagram at wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.